Hello, good evening, and welcome again to Supreme Leverage. It's Friday, it's 5 o'clock, and I'm always excited to be here every evening. Now, I don't know if you've subscribed to our YouTube channel. I think you should, because you might have missed a lot of interesting episodes. Last week, we had the happy teacher, and I can tell you throughout the week, I kept going back to my notes and checking back and reading affirmations, making sure I'm affirming positive words to myself. We talked about the mindset shift. It was so much from that session. You need to go back and watch that. And it's one of those episodes that you want to keep as a keepsake. So it's another interesting week. And today we're talking about your choice is supreme. And of course, like I say every week, we always have the best of the best. But today is more interesting because we just don't have one. We've got two, we've got three, we've got four. How interesting can it be this Friday evening? But before you get to meet them, we have to go to the studio to hear the news from, of course, a very darling Mr. Ogunye. And you've not met him before. It's going to be the first time on this session meeting Mr. Ogunye, one of Supreme passionate teachers. Over to you, Mr. Ogunye, for the news. We're excited to meet you and welcome to Supreme Leverage. Mr. Ogunye, please. Okay, while we are waiting for that, for Mr. Ogunye to come in, is one of our teachers in the high school. And on this segment, we will be discussing about your choice. And like I always say with every session, have a pen with you, get your notebook ready so that you can take on board lots of notes. Remember that it's a live feed, and so you can send in questions, things that you want to know about making choices, good school choices. You want to send us all those all those questions live so that we can look into that. It's very important that that is going on live. Can we try to have Mr. Ogunye back?
Thank you very much, Mrs. Solupula.
Thank you.
This is Supreme News. My name is Ogunye Ayodeji. Here's the news across Nigeria. Self-remote learning. Supreme Education Foundation School is one of the leading online schools where seamless virtual learning experience takes place for our students. We get you started with education that matches your unique needs. Our experienced teachers lead real-time live online timetabled interactive lessons where pupil interaction is encouraged and monitored. Our staff are hands-on to answer questions you and your child may have. Join the winning train. Enroll your children today. Supreme Education Foundation School received excellent reports on readiness for resumption. The Quality Assurance Unit from the Lagos State Ministry of Education visited schools in Magodo, GRA Phase 2 in Lagos to inspect the preparedness of schools for post-COVID-19 resumption. The inspection of SEF received an excellent report from the team. Nigeria receives ventilators promised by Donald Trump. Drivers, Uber speak on unclear new regulations on ride-hailing services in Lagos. The regulations will come into effect on August 20. Regulations, the government said, were necessary to reduce security risk, improve safety, and curb flagrant flouting of existing traffic laws. There is need to introduce accreditation scheme that will have all the necessary and significant data of operators, drivers, and the number of registered taxi details, of which will include route and tag numbers. The exercise will go a long way to curb the excesses of the operators and drivers in the state. These regulations will not help our business, Mr. Segun Abiola, a driver said. The government does not think about how we fuel and maintain our cars, he said. Ride-hailing companies are maintained and have been mandated to grant the state government access to their database. Drivers who are on those ride-hailing platforms must also be literate, certified annually by Lagos State Drivers Institute, and have Lagos State Residents Registration Agency card, LASER, and also driver's badge. Nigerian public pupils win global innovation competition, awarded over $500,000 worth of undergraduate scholarships and prizes. While 2020 has been a challenging year for schools, the economy and businesses generally, Favor, Elizabeth, Chibuzo, and Anthony from Team Recycle Rex, students of Government Science and Technical College, Garki, Abuja, have sure made their mark this year. These 4 public school pupils have set the pace by winning the Power Pitch Award in the Global Conrad Challenge Innovation Competition and multiple undergraduate scholarships. The Conrad Challenge is an annual innovation challenge designed for high school students between the ages of 13 to 18. The challenge is designed for participants to apply their knowledge of science and technology, engineering, and mathematics to solve real-world problems around them. The competition brings together about 1,500 participants worldwide. Nigeria making progress to reverse U.S. immigration visa suspension. Nigeria President Muhammadu Buhari on Thursday said the country is making progress to reverse the United States suspension of the issuance of immigrant visas to Nigerian passport holders. I also note the progress made by Nigeria towards the removal of the visa restrictions, as 2 out of the 6 areas of concern by the United States had been fully addressed. 2 are substantially satisfied, while some progress is being made on the remaining 2. President Buhari said in a statement signed by presidential spokesman Mr. Femi Adesina. It is our hope that the findings, strategies, and implementation plans preferred is fully implemented. We'll expedite the lifting of the visa restrictions while bequeathing to the nation an enduring identity management system, Mr. Aregbesola said. And this is the world news. COVID-19. Russia to start mass inoculation of vaccine this month at its insist on its safety. Russia has announced that it was going to start mass vaccination of the world's first COVID-19 vaccine this month, before the completion of clinical testing. This is just as it waved off concerns by the international community and some scientists about the safety of the vaccine. This vaccine, which is developed by Gamaleya Institute in collaboration with the Defense Ministry and the Russian Direct Investment Fund, RDIF, is said to be undergoing phase 3 trials, which is the final stage. However, a World Health Organization database still lists the vaccine as still only phase 1 trial, which is the earliest stage. The WHO had earlier revealed that it is currently discussing with Russia and pointed out in granting pre-qualification of the vaccine, a detailed review of data from clinical trials will be required. And now, to end the news. Albert Einstein said, and I quote, "Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning."
Thank you very much.
Over to you now, Mrs. Olubukola Adewoye.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ayodeji Ogunyeye. So much, lots of interesting issues you've raised there. A big thank you to Mr. Trump for coming to our aid, for helping us. That's really good. And well done to Supreme for getting an excellent result. Don't you feel proud of us, Mr. Ogunyeye? I'm proud of of our team at Supreme. Very good. That's really glad. And I hope that Russia will take it easy before starting to issue out this vaccine, because there's a lot to be worried about. I understand they are impatient to get this done, but then phase one trial, I don't think it's safe enough for people to start taking the vaccine yet. Or what do you think about that, Mr. Ogunyeye? Hello, Mr. Gay. Okay, I think we've lost him there. I hope that we would do take our time as well. So just before I begin to call in my guest, I promised my daughter to give her a shout this evening. Thank you, Roy. She made my face. I'm sure I probably look very different and extremely beautiful this evening. So I sat down and then she had all of this done. So thank you again, Roike, for doing that for me. So my guests, are we ready to bring them on? So I'll start by introducing the principal of the high school, Mr. Akwiti, to come on board. Nice to have you this evening on Supreme Leverage.
Thank you, Mr. Adewiye. Thank you for having me today.
It's exciting to have you. Mrs. K. Daudu, head of junior school, is also with us this evening.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Adewiye. It's a great pleasure to be here today.
It's good to have you, Mrs. K. Daudu. We have Mrs. Esenwa as well with us this evening, head of pastoral. Good to have you with us, Mrs. Esenwa, this evening on Supreme Leverage.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
And of course, we have Mrs. Olonio, head of quality assurance, head of junior school deputy head, and head of early years. Good to have you as well, Mrs. Olonio. Please, Mr. Olonio needs to be unmuted.
Okay.
Please unmute Mrs. Olonio.
It's
Yes,
amazing to be here this evening. Good evening, Mrs. Adewiye.
Good evening.
And your makeup is actually beautiful. That makeup is beautiful.
Thank you. I'm sure she's excited watching that and saying, yeah, I did a good job. So yes, this evening our choice is Supreme. And we want to know how important it is to make a choice for the children, to choose your children's school. How important is it? A decision to be taken lightly? And we want to really do hear from you, because you deal with lots of parents, lots of children, year in, year out, with your different departments. So luckily for us this evening, for viewers, we have someone that will be giving us the perspective from the high school, from junior school, from early years, and of course the pastoral, dealing as well with the mental side of things, with the health issues and all that comes into it. So how important is it? Just a decision? Because I think I'm of the opinion that some of our parents do many more and then choose their children's school. I think some choose school because, well, my friend has a daughter in that school, or there's just so much that goes behind it. What do you think, Mr. Akwiti? What is your take on it?
All right. Thank you so much, Mrs. Adewiye, for that question. And nice makeup. Well done to Roike. She really did a great job there.
Thank you.
It is extremely important because of foundation. One thing I discovered in the past few weeks, if you look at people who have achieved greatness in any field, in inventors, you hardly hear of inventors who started inventing at 40, 50. In sports, Messi, our own John Mikel Obi, Kanu Nwankwo. In music, you know, the names we hear in music, Beyonce, our own Davido, our own Wizkid, you will find that all of them started young. So when we are looking at our children and looking at greatness, we don't actually have all the time for them to go through life, maybe finish university, and then become great. It's important that we know that everyone who has become great did it early. So those foundation years, when the children begin to put their thoughts together, it's important that we choose a great school, that school that can join with what's happening at home and give the child the greatest propulsion towards greatness. So it's important, Mr. Dewi.
Foundation. What I really picked out of that is the foundation is very key. Starting early with the children. Mrs. K, what do you say to that?
Yes, I think that making the right choice for children is very vital, because education isn't a one-size-fits-all, and every child is unique. Not all children are the same, and lumping everybody together in the same learning path is quite not optimal for some unique learners.
Okay.
Some children are gifted, some will have learning disabilities, some will require interventions and learning support. And so the decision for school is that parents should ensure that the children are placed in a school that is a right fit and can cater to their learning needs.
Just said is it's important that it's a right fit, tailored to the needs of their children, because one size does not fit all. Thank you very much for that, Mrs. K. Mrs. Oloniyo, what is your take on this, on choosing the right school?
Thank you, Mrs. Adewi, and thank you for contributions from Mrs. K and Mr. Kwiti. For me, I want to talk more on the early years. As we all know that learning in the early years lays the foundation for a successful and happy future. So early experiences, unfortunately, a lot of parents do not know this. Early experiences are so important in shaping how successful children are later in life. Studies show from scholars all over the world that children who have quality education, that is quality education while they are in early years, including attending quality school, such as Supreme Education Foundation, are more likely to graduate from high school, not just high school, are more likely to attend college, graduate, likely to get into doctorate degrees. That is if they start from the early childhood level. They are more likely to own a home. They are not going to sleep on streets. They are not going to be thugs, because a lot of these skills, the prime areas are being covered while they are in early years, which might not be covered in the primary or in the secondary.
So starting early, having a very good foundation at early years secures the futures of those children.
Yeah,
thank you for that. Mrs. Esenwa, is there something you want to contribute to that before I go to the next question?
Yes, ma'am. To add to what they've all said, they've all spoken well. We all know that for us to be emotionally stable adults, we have to start from foundation. In fact, as early as early years, so to speak, to secondary school, we find out that some children are not emotionally stable. They are not mentally stable as well because of what goes on in the homes. So it's very important when you are sourcing for a school for your child, you should look at that school that cares for your child's emotional well-being, mental wellness, and social well-being as well. And that you can find in SEF, because in Supreme we have well-trained counselors that are ensuring that our children are emotionally stable at all times by digging deep and using a template to walk through their hearts to their heads to achieve the desired result. I think I stop at this point for now.
Taking out of that is that, you see, so we're not teaching just the head, we're teaching the art of the children, which automatically yes. So that is really fantastic. And really, when you teach the art, we have children that are emotionally stable, emotionally sound, and then they also are more empathetic. They are not afraid to be vulnerable. And then starting early with them at early years, we are also able to detect on time their strengths, their weaknesses, because we're constantly meeting with the parents and telling them about their children's strengths and weaknesses and discussing on how to go forward and interventions to put in place. So I'm looking at all of this. What factors should be considered when picking a school for your child? So we know that it is important that making those choices to look at some things. Are there specific factors to look at? So we, Mrs. Case has told us about some tailoring needs of the children. So what needs do you want to cause? Parents might be watching this now and thinking, well, so what do I look out for? What do I, when I look at this in my child, so what do I look out for in the school to see if it suits the child? Or how do I know the school has this particular stuff, this particular attributes that will help my child to succeed better? And I'll take that to Mr. Akwiti to please answer that. What factors?
All right, thank you once more, Mrs. Adewi. Yes, let me speak from a secondary school perspective. Your child has gone through primary school. It's important to put a lot of things out there to gauge where the interest of the child lies. So your son loves to code. Also push musical instruments to the child to see if there's interest there. Let the child be involved in sports, which is one thing that children in our primary school, because we have a purpose-built facility, they get all of these. They get the full suite of sports, they get the full suite of music. Now, when the child is transiting to secondary, you have an idea of where the interest. Remember, we are teaching the head, we are teaching the hands, we are teaching the heart.
Yes.
You need to look for the school that meets the need. So if your child has some promise in sports, then you have to look for a school that offers sports, not only in principle, but things you can see, facilities you can see, where you are sure that will happen here. If you see your child, every child has leadership potential. Can you find out how does the school nurture leadership potential in that child? If your child, from what you have noticed, needs some special learning attention, please find out, does the school offer that? Are there things in place to cater to that particular need of the child so that that child is successful and can go on higher in future? And that's, I know when we talk about our stories, we will tell some of that, how we've been able to achieve this in every kind of child. Thank you, Mr. Adewi.
Fantastic. Thank you for that answer. Mrs. K, is a school about the building? So, I mean, if I want to take my child to a school, should I be looking out for the very beautiful buildings, for the lovely structures? Is that what should be a concern? Is that what a parent should look at for in a school? What would you advise?
All right. Thank you for that, Mr. Adewi. Yes, in as much as a lot of people are more into what they can see, school education goes deeper than that. The curriculum is one of the most important things you need to look out for when you are enrolling your child in a school. You need to be sure that what the child is learning is academically challenging enough to bring out the best in that child. You have to ensure that your child has opportunities to collaborate and engage in critical thinking opportunities so that they can apply what is learned and taught in the curriculum to solving global or local issues. They can apply all they have learned into everyday situations. And apart from that, how is this curriculum impacted into the child? The quality of teaching and learning is also key. Academic performance of a school counts. The learning approach is quite important. Your child, does your child require an intervention on IEP? What are the teachers like? Are they passionate enough to help your child to learn? How are they communicating effectively with your child in a manner that best suits your child's needs? How are they communicating and feeding you back as a parent so that you can monitor progress alongside the school? Let me respond then.
Thank you very much. You thought at the point I was quiet, and then I think I started thinking critically as well, to start putting all of that together. That is a lot to take in, and I hope our parents are noting all of that. I will ask Mrs. Oloniyo now, are there perfect schools out there? Is there any school that we can describe and say, this is a perfect school? Are there any perfect school out there? We can't hear Mrs. Oloniyo. I hope. Hello, Mrs. Oloniyo. Okay, while I'm waiting to have her back, concerning perfect schools, Mr. Akwiti, do we have perfect schools?
All right, thank you for that question, because we get it all the time. Perfection, in education is a moving target. For instance, imagine if the definition of perfection was a school that deployed IT effectively up to March, and COVID struck. You find that has changed. So what we have schools, and what parents should look out for, schools that are continuously improving. A school that you walk in 2017, you see things in place, not only physical, and then you come back again 2 years after, and you're wondering, is it the same place I visited 2 years back? And I don't mean physical structure, in the attainment of the students, in the culture of the school. So it's important to know that perfection in education, moving target, we have schools that are continuously improving. Supreme is a school that is continuously improving. Our yesterday, in fact, today is gone. When you see us on Monday, different school.
Different, fantastic. We are constantly thinking on our feet. Yeah. In fact, at a time, we tagged ourselves a thinking school because we're constantly thinking, what else can we bring into play? What else can we do better? That's fantastic. Thank you very much for that. How do you know that you've made the right choice? Mrs. Oloniyo, can we have you back? I hope it's okay now. Yeah. Your system, yes, fantastic. So how do you know when you've made the right choice about a school? At what point do you feel, as I said, I think I did well. This is a good choice.
Good. Talking about choice is about decision making. Yes. And when you are making a decision about a school, you have your own expectations. You have what you're watching out for. So at SEF, we do this a lot. When we have a new parent, we want to know what they want. Apart from the fact that we have seen this child, in early years, we don't normally do written assessment. We are not moved by written assessment. We just want to observe. We just want to know the prime areas of each child. We want to know where are the gaps, where can we bridge or fill in. Now, we try to listen. We do interview pre-resumption. For this parent, we want to know, because to say the fact, they know their children even before enrolling. A child that is not coping well, they know. So we want to know from them. It's like you go to the clinic for treatment. We need profiling. We need to know, where is this child coming from? Where is this child presently? That's our own observation. And where is the gap? Where are we taking the child to? So on having done all this well, as we do, so after a month, I think about before COVID-19, a parent walked into my office and said, I was even with you that day and said, Mr. Oloni, can I see you for a second? You remember that day?
Yes,
and I said, I was like, is there a complaint? And to my surprise, she said, everything you said about self, we are seeing more. So that set me to making a choice, making Supreme your choice from early years, not from primary, not from secondary, from early years.
Start early from the early years of the. That's so fantastic.
Our focus, we are not driven by academics alone. Academics is just 40% of the curriculum. The teaching academic is about 60, if not 65%, according to research, according to scholars' work. And listening to an educational program this morning on YouTube by Itayo, you know, they are talking about skills in early years. A lot of parents do not, they don't even know that skills are those things that will make the child do so well in the stage, what have you. So at self, making self as your choice is about investing in your child's future, because after a term you come back to say we are well done. Do you want me to say that at self we don't wait till they get to primary before they start anchoring programs, before they start reading in place?
Yes,
so very true. All those things, learning at self is beyond the walls of the classroom. It's beyond the classroom. We take it out of the classroom, and I will rest from now until.
Thank you very much for that, Mrs. Oloniyo. So what I'm bringing out of this is that at Supreme, when you bring your child, we want you to tell us how well the child is doing, for that child. Then when we listen, we also tell you, because sometimes as well, we notice that when we're having these pre-interviews, parents sometimes do have unrealistic expectations of those children. We help them to see that, look, this is what is expected. This is normal at this age. No, don't force over this. I mean, you have parents that want the child to come in and expect the child to start counting 1 to 1,000 because exactly. So we manage their expectations. We help them to shape it in accordance to what is expected of those children for that particular age group. And sometimes the children do begin to exceed even expectations in no time, because they are on fertile grounds where they are able to be themselves. They are playing, but they are really, really learning. So that is fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Mrs. Oloniyo. So what should be the basic standard requirements of every school? Mrs. K. Daudu, can you help us with that? What should be the basic standard requirement of every school?
Yes, for every school, one of the basic standard requirements is for us to know the child. Who are we? The child we are receiving, we need to know, because it's from knowing the child that we are able to help the child move on. So it's very pertinent we know that parents know their children. We also go out of our way to understand our children, because progress is key at Supreme. We want our children to consistently make progress in all that they do. And so the only way for us to know if they are making this progress is for us to know how they started with us. And when we know how they started with us, we will move them on gradually within the levels of the curriculum. Another standard that we look at for is age placement. Age plays a great role in admission for us at Supreme. We do a whole lot of age placement because children learn within their age levels. There are expectations in the curriculum for each age level. We understand that sometimes there are children that are working above the age level. So we are able to challenge these children and extend them still within their age group. And another requirement to know is medical history of the child. We can't just take children without knowing if there are some medical issues that we need to be aware of. It's very pertinent because we don't just focus on academics, we focus on total development of our children. And then we try to look out for talent, abilities that parents have noticed that we need to also work on with these children and build them up to develop totally.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Mrs. K. I like the fact that you mentioned that we're looking at the total development of the children. And so it's not just about academics, it's about public speaking, it's about sports, it's about swimming, it's about leadership. We want to make sure that in every area of their lives that they are growing and they are making progress. Thank you very much for that. Mr. Kwiti, what would you say should be the basic requirement for every school?
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Dewi. Yes, the people are the most important part of a school. The people, I mean, who are the teachers? So for a school to be called a standard school, we must have the people who will do the work, who are going to be the mentors to the children. Another thing that is basic, you know, things have changed all over Lagos, all over Nigeria. We don't have homes that are on a full plot of land or on 2 plots where children can actually get around. And you know, that is key to the development of a child. Having a standard school setting, a standard school plant where children can run during break. They can actually go to a field for sports. They can actually exercise, and they are not constrained to a particular position, because when they go home, they're still constrained to those rooms.
Yes.
So that's one thing that we have made a very important point at Supreme, to ensure that there is space for children to thrive. So we have valued that space over everything else. When you come into our premises, and I'm sure you must have seen that in the video that was before the program started. We value there is space for children to play, because that's also part of learning.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much. I want to acknowledge some of the comments coming in. Mrs. Olutayo, thank you for that. Total child development is what we look at. Very true. Mrs. Okozi Loretta, SEF is constantly improving and preparing students to face global challenges, teaching them skills, emotional stability, and to be confident wherever they may find themselves. That is fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Mrs. Okozi Loretta. Femi Ayene, the structures, the facilities, values, progression in result, caring and support programs, relevant curriculum. I really like that. I like the curriculum to be relevant, all-round readiness, major requirements. Thank you very much for that. It's been fantastic. And because I can't believe the time is running by so fast, and I really do want to hear your success stories. I want to hear what is happening well in your department, what you've seen, and those wow moments, those moments that have made you go like, wow, really? I'm so eager to hear some of them. I will go to Mrs. Esenwa now so that we can hear one of our wow stories, our success stories. Mrs. Esenwa.
Okay. Thank you very much, ma'am. Before going to my stories, I would like to also add that Supreme pays particular attention to hidden curriculum. When I talk of hidden curriculum, is it that curriculum you don't see but you feel? For instance, we take the children through life skills that will help them navigate through life. We all know that at some point in life must surely happen. And when it happens, what do we do? So we equip our children with the right coping skills in case life happens. So I didn't want to leave this out because it's very important. They are really very important. Yes. So whatever happens, yes, ma'am. So yes, ma'am. Then we also believe in Supreme that every child has the potential to succeed.
Very true.
And if at any time a child is not pulling his weight or her weight, or a child's grade is dropping, a child is self-isolating, a child is doing some abnormal things. We don't just sweep them, all those observations under the carpet. What we do is to go deep and probe and know why that particular child is behaving the way he or she is behaving. We go as far as investigating the homes. And when we are done with our findings, that's when we give intervention. Then the intervention will be, two ways. If it's something we can handle as a school, we do that. If it's something that is beyond us, we refer. We invite the parents, have discussions, and refer. We are partnering with some mental health experts and child protection agencies. So we are really, really prepared. We've been doing that to ensure that our children at all times stable. They are happy coming to school. They are not disturbed in any way. And if it involves us talking to the parents, if it's something that is happening around the home, we talk to the parents and they know how to go around it and do some kind of damage control so that the life of that child is not damaged completely. So that's yes, ma'am. That's I needed to bring this on board because over time we've realized that a lot of things go on at home.
Yes.
Some children are carrying so much burden. And because there's a disconnect, a huge disconnect, I'm not exaggerating, I'm stating the obvious. There's a huge disconnect between some parents and their children. And the children cannot open up to them because there's no trust. In the first place, the feeling is, I don't know how my parents will handle this. I don't know if they'll be able to handle it well when angry. Because of that, they bottle in and they bottle it in and they're in their own world, doing their own things without the parents knowing anything about it.
About them, yeah.
It starts affecting them academically. It starts affecting them socially. That's the point. That's when it gets to that point. That's when you start seeing some abnormal behaviors around the children, and you start asking questions. And sometimes, because we have a very exciting pastoral unit, and we've made it so we've made it so good for them that like, oh, we care, we have your back, and we speak their language, and we use their template as well. You'll be wondering what is using their template. We use the template of the Genzas. Generation X or Y to work with them. We use the template of the Genzas to work with them. So because of that, they are so relaxed with us. So they can come in and tell us anything, just anything.
And you know what, Mrs. Esenwa, this is very, very important, because if the parents at home do not notice these changes, if parents at home are not able to detect that something is going wrong, and the school is also not able to see this, then the children are in jeopardy. There is no safe place. So it's important as a school that we are able to pick this up immediately, both for our day students and the boarding students, that we notice this and we are able to nip it in the bud before it goes beyond control. I mean, thank you so much for bringing that to our notice. It's something for parents to be conscious about as well, to make sure that they are closing the gaps. And it's one of the reasons we're constantly having parenting seminars. And I hope this would encourage more parents to attend, so that we are constantly closing the gaps between us and our children, especially when they begin to get into their teenage years and then the hormones begins to run wild and all over the place. Thank you very much for calling our attention to that. Thank you very much, Mrs. Esenwa. I will take over Mrs. Dolorian now to share with us a success story.
Oh, so many
as
of
we begin to round up. Yes, okay.
So many of you. Okay, we have a lot of students that are now in high school that started from the early years. their
Just,
school
Mrs. Olonio, just before you start that, I need to say a big shout out to Paula Kombi. That is one of our alumni. Well done, Paula Kombi. It's good to have you on board with us this evening. Thank you. Okay, Mrs. Olonio, back to you.
So we have a lot of them. A lot of parents are sending, even during online. Early years, to our surprise, are online. They attend their Zoom classes and they are doing so well. Parents are sending in age 4. They are reading videos of their readings. They've started reading from age 4. That's a success story. Not all schools can achieve that. Not all schools. And I quickly want to say something, ma.
Yes.
I saw a question that says that how can we manage expectations of parents? It's so simple. There was a time like 4 years ago, before that time, we were using the normal curriculum for the early years. And out of it, needed to change because it's a learning school, just like a thinking school, just like what you said and Mr. Kuti said the other time. So how do we, because at age 4, they want their children to write 1 to 200, not just 1 to 100, 1 to 200. So what we did was, we did a lot of consistent calling them to have a meeting with them, sharing our vision with them. We are the doctors, they are the patient. They of course, they needed to listen. And they did listen. And a lot of time, they will come back to say, oh, well done, we are seeing it. Now, we are using our curriculum. Our expectation for our nursery is not just writing numbers. It's a lot of that. It's just 1 to 60. You'll be surprised. Where we have schools around us writing 1 to 150 at that age. But we see our focus. We know where we are going, even from early years, not to even mention others. So before I go, because of the time now, when you think of Supreme Education Foundation School, think of a school that encourages pupils to think, that encourage their mind. It's a school that encourages mind to think, hands to create, and the arts to love. Mind,
well done.
Hands to create, and mind to love. So a child with these 3 is a total child. Thank you.
There. Thank you very much. That is very enlightening. Thank you very, very much for that. Mrs. K. Daudu, any success stories to share with us as we begin to round up?
Like Ms. Olonio said, we have lots and lots of success stories. And to mention a few, Supreme is a caring school. We show care to our children, our parents, teachers, and the community. Usually every harvest and our Thanksgiving ceremony, we reach out to our community, to children around us. We support different schools and our children to making waves. In our virtual learning, which is our most recent success story, we have embraced digitalized learning opportunities, and we are offering optimal learning to our children. Our children are engaged in age-appropriate, child-friendly, and easy-to-use learning. They are engaged on learning platforms and are boosting their learning daily. Our mantra at Supreme is no child is left behind. And truly, we do not leave any child behind. As our teaching and learning is child-centered, it's fun, and it's directed at meeting our children's learning needs. So our lessons are always differentiated. Even though we are virtual, it is still tailored to meet the needs of all learners.
Thank you for that. And I'm glad that you talked about differentiating online. And some have thought, I've had questions about how is it possible? How are you going to teach the children online and be able to intervene accordingly to them in small groups and making sure that all the children are making progress? How have we been able to achieve this despite the online learning and virtual learning that has been happening in the past few months?
Okay, so even while we are online, what we do is our lessons, we split the children according to their learning abilities, and we pull them into this learning ability group classes where the teaching is actually bespoke. It's tailored to them. They are able to, the teaching is centered around them, and children have opportunities to have support from their teachers. Then when we are assigned tasks to them, our tasks are also differentiated. Okay. These children are carried along and nobody is left behind.
Thank you. So that means everybody is making good and ample progress despite wherever they stand academically. So no child is failing. They are all making good progress at their own pace, which is very, very, very important. Thank you very much for that, Mrs. K. Mr. Akwiti, any success story to share with us?
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Dewi. There are so many. Let me talk of a boy who joined us in year 9. This was his 3rd school. He had gone to 2 schools in year 7 and year 8 and appeared to be failing. So when he came in year 9, our counseling team assessed him, looked at him, and recommended him for further assessment. So for the first time after his many years in school, he went to see an educational psychologist who discovered that he was dyslexic. So this was a boy who had struggled through school, struggled all through primary school, struggled for the first 3 years of secondary school. So what we did, we created his own learning plan. We requested for access arrangements when he was to do IGCSE. So he actually did IGCSE and excelled. He started a fashion business while he was in school. When he left school, he got a scholarship to School of Art and Design in Atlanta.
I remember.
He's currently in a fashion school in Dubai. And this is a boy who, at 3 years in secondary school, said there was no hope. So this is typical of the kinds of stories.
Yes.
We identify that gold in the child. There's an A star in every child. We have many students who have been, we're always in Team Nigeria for the first Global Robotics Olympiad. We had a student in Dubai last year. We had in Durban, South Africa. We had a student in China. We had a student in the USA. The US ambassador flew down from Lagos to New York to Washington to meet with the team. We had students in Senegal. And one thing we've noticed with our students, 8 out of 10 students who have left CEF, not only in the past 10 years, they have started businesses after their schooling. Because we teach them in school that don't look for jobs, create jobs, create employment.
Very true,
so
yes.
All of them are business minded. Through the enterprise classes they take for 6 years here, we have so many success stories in the field of enterprise. This summer alone, we've had 4 first-class degrees from different countries. We had one from University of Lagos in electrical engineering. We had another one from the Robert Gordon University in Scotland. We had a first class from University of Waterloo, and we had a first class from the University of Kentucky, to show that our students in every country, wherever they are, they are themselves. And then when they finish school, yes, they go to look for jobs, but they also seek for how to create employment, how to immediately be part of the solution in Nigeria and globally. There are so many, but I know our time is fast.
I know. There's so much, and the time. Yes, we could go on. That is fantastic, and it's good to see that. I mean, we have first-class students in different countries, so it's not a lot to. They're catering, they're raising children that will succeed well in Canada or in England, or it's just in the US or is it Nigeria. They're succeeding all around, and that is fantastic. I mean, well done. Shout out back to our alumni. Can you put that up back again?
Yes, Paul. Thanks for having me.
Paul. Yes,
and he founded a magazine when he was in school. He started the first school magazine while he was in school. Well done, Paul.
Well done, Paul. We also miss you as well. Remember to drop in once everyone is back in school very soon. Please drop in so that you can encourage the younger ones as well, so that we see how well they can see how well you're doing and learn from me. Thank you, Paul, once again. And thank you, Mrs. Okozi Loreto. You are always with us every week. And I mean, giving us a lot of encouragement. We really appreciate you. She's one of our very supportive parents. So she says, my kids in year 7 and 4 program games themselves which they play, and even more made an educational one for their kid brother in year 1. All kudos to Supreme. Thank you so much for that, Mrs. Okozie. She's always online every week. Thank you for that. And to all our guests, thank you for always being there. Kimi Alomaja Serao. We always see you every Friday and all your comments coming in. Thank you very much. It's been a very interesting evening. We could go on and on. I will just go back to Mrs. Esenwa as she just rounds up her success story.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma. There are so many. I'm just no time to go through all this, but I need to say this particular. There was this reconciliation of forgiveness that occurred between mother and daughter. It was amazing. Through our counseling sessions, a child was able to forgive the mom, and they had this reconciliation. I need to say, and we are so grateful for what Seth did for them. And there was also a case of someone that could have harmed. Okay, prevention of self-harm. Let me summarize it that way. Something bad that could have happened that was, by the grace of God, stopped through counseling. We are grateful
and quick intervention.
Yes, God's intervention, and there was a restoration of trust between children and their parents, and they're all doing good now. I can go on and on and on.
I know, but it just shows how much we care, which is one of our main mantra. We care. We are a caring school.
Thank you. Yes, I need to charge all the prospective parents, everybody watching. If you feel social stability, emotional stability of your child, you are worried, please think Supreme. If you feel mental wellness for your child and you're concerned, please think Supreme. Lastly, if at any time you're not feeling Supreme, please talk to the pastoral team. We are here for you all the time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. We are supreme indeed. Very, very supreme in all that we do. Okay, parting words from Mrs. Oloniyan, please, as we round up now. Any parting words?
So I will just say, supreme is all you can. Your investment today at self is it's enormous. You cannot put a price to it. Yes. Enroll your child today and go and leave us to do the thinking. You just enroll your child and allow us to think about it.
Thank you for that. Mr. Akwiti.
All right, thank you, Mr. Adeoye. I'd like to tell all our parents, our prospective parents, as Supreme, we produce lifelong learners. People who, when they leave, they are prepared for life, prepared to be the best everywhere and at anything they do. So choose Supreme and you will get Supreme.
Thank you. Mrs. K?
Yes, to our prospective parents and viewers out there, I want to encourage you to come and partner with us as Supreme so that we can help you raise your child in an exciting learning experience, which will turn them into transformational leaders and game changers in the world.
Yes,
so join us today and let us train your child the Supreme way.
Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. It's been a fantastic evening, and we have spent an hour already. You are the best team to work with. I am very fortunate to be working with such wonderful, innovative, and dynamic team as each and every one of you, and to all the ones at the back as well. Thank you so much for a wonderful evening. I hope everyone has listened. Remember to subscribe to our channel. If you've missed this, if you joined late, you can always rewatch. Thank you to all our viewers. I remain your host, Olubukola Adewoye, and see you next week, same time on Supreme Leverage. Thank you. And remember,
thank you.